Lovely. Okay, so tonight's lesson is done partly in standing and partly you'll take rests, either by walking around or by sitting down in your chair. And, you know, as always, even though it looks like quite a simple lesson, which it is, just, you know, do it at your own pace and go slowly. And if you don't find it easy and comfortable to do something, then you can just sit that out or do it in your imagination. So just to start the lesson, come and stand behind your chair. And just take the opportunity, maybe with your hands down by your side, as if the chair wasn't there. How does it feel just to stand? Just what's it like for you tonight? What's your sense of the weight over each of your feet? You know, is there more weight on one foot than the other? Or maybe for you, there's weight on both feet, but your sense is that you're more on the heels of your feet. Or maybe are you more to the front of your feet? Or maybe you can sense a bit more of the edge of your feet than the outer edges of your feet than the inner edges. Just notice it. We all have our own way of standing. We tend to stand a bit more on one leg than the other, a little bit. Some of us lean back a little bit, some of us lean forward a little bit. And you can sense all of that in the way your feet contact the ground. Sorry, I should have said, if you haven't done it already, that you should be not in shoes if that's comfortable. And just as you stand there, then just take your attention to where your pelvis is over the top of your feet. And what's your sense? Is your pelvis a little bit behind your feet? A little bit in front of your feet? And if you go even further, where do you have a sense that your shoulders are over your pelvis? Again, we each stand differently. So for some of us, our shoulders are a little bit behind our feet and our pelvis. For some of us, they feel more or less over the top. And for some of us, it's we're a little bit in front. The shoulders feel like they're a bit in front of the pelvis. Just notice what it's like for you. Maybe that'll give you some information to compare things with later on. Now the working position that we're going to start with tonight is that you're going to have your left hand on the chair and you're going to take your weight over onto your left foot. So you're going to take your weight over onto your left foot so that you could perhaps stand with your right foot just on the toes. So your right foot is just, you're really taking your weight over onto your left foot and your right foot is just up on your toes, so that your right foot is there for stability, but it's not actually taking any weight. Just go in and out of that a couple of times. So take your weight back onto both feet, come back over onto your left, until you can have a sense about whether you're actually, you know, fully safely and securely over your left foot. So just get to a point where you feel, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm over my left foot, I've got my weight over to the left, and I can stay here comfortably. For some of us, that's the leg we always do that on. And for some of us, it's not. And again, if it feels more stable to have both hands on your chair, you can do that too. So come over onto the left foot now and stay there. And in that position, begin a movement where you make a circle with the crown of your head as if in a horizontal plane, as if you were going to paint the top of the ceiling. So you just go very slowly around in a circle. And if you go slowly enough so that you can have a sense of whether you're making a circle or maybe the shape is more of an oval. Or, it's clear about 2/3 of the way around. And then, if you haven't already, go in the other direction. See what it's like to go quite slowly. Okay, pause from that. Pause just where you are. Stay over your left foot. And now, can you make circles with your left pelvis? Also in the horizontal plane. And again, notice for yourself. What's the shape I'm making? Is it a circle? Is it clear all the way around? Or, is it clear from 12 to 6 and over to 9, but between 9 and 12, it's just really not clear? And then try going the other way, not the way you first went, and see what that's like. Is it as easy for you to make a circle with your pelvis, your left pelvis, in one direction as the other? Just notice. And have a pause and come back onto both feet again. Let's take a little rest. And then come back over, bring the weight over your left leg again. And now, this will be small, but can you make circles with your left ankle? Again, there'll be horizontal circles, so parallel to the floor. And make a circle with your ankle. And for you, this might feel more like you're making a circle, in fact, on the floor underneath your foot. That might be the way in which you have a sense that you're making a circle with your ankle. Or you might feel that in your ankle itself. And then go in the other direction. And just widen your awareness to just check that you're still breathing as you concentrate on making a circle with your ankle. And then pause from that. Just pause for a sec. And then go back again to the first thing we did, which was making a circle with the top of your head. Does that circle feel any easier now? Do you sense any other parts of you wanting to participate when you make the circle? Okay. Come back onto both your feet. Just check in that you're stable over your feet. In fact, just take a little walk, a really slow, like almost like you were doing walking meditation. Just do a little slow walk with both your feet. It's hard to walk with one foot, sorry, that would be hopping. Just put one foot down, lift the other. Just see what you notice about the way you walk. And come back and stand behind your chair again. And now come over and take your weight to start with over onto your right, to have your right hand on the back of the chair and take your weight over onto your right foot. And just at the very start, what's this like compared to being over your left foot? Just go back onto both feet again and then back over to your right foot. And do it in a way that lets you find that point where you feel perfectly stable over your right foot. See if you can find that point where you feel what does it feel like? You've kind of arrived, you could stay there. And then your left foot might just come up onto the toes as a way of stabilizing you. And again, this may or may not be the leg that you normally rest over. Okay, now staying on your right, over your right foot, weight on your right foot. Can you again, like you did on your left side, start to make circles with the crown of your head, as if you were going to paint the ceiling? And experiment with different speeds of doing this. Do it quickly and then try doing it very slowly so that you can have a sense of whether you're making a circle, whether it's a circle that's clear to you all the way around. Now go in the other direction. And of course, if any of this makes you dizzy, just do it once or twice. Maybe keep your eyes open. And then pause from that, but stay over on the right side. And again, make a circle in the horizontal plane with your right pelvis, your right hip. And again, what's that like? Is it different from doing it with your left hip? What's your sense of the shape of the circle that you make? And pause and go in the other direction. And then pause from that. Again, maybe come back onto both your feet for a sec. What's it like to be back on both your feet again? Is anything changing about the way in which you feel your stability on the floor? And then come back over onto your right foot again. And this time, think about pressing a circle into the floor with your right foot. So you're going to press on the outside edge of your foot, the front of your foot, the inside edge of your foot, the heel. Make a circle that way. Of course, it's also making a circle in your ankle, but you're experiencing it slightly differently. You're getting feedback from a slightly different point. And then reverse. So go inside foot, toes, outside foot, heel. And how clearly can you go around your foot, your right foot on the ground? And then pause from that, put both feet back down again, come into the middle. What's your sense of the middle now? Been over on the left, you've been over on the right. If you sway a little bit between the left side of you and the right side, your right foot and your left foot, what lets you know when you're in your idea of the middle? You're not on your right and you're not on your left. Where's that place for you? Great. Okay, come back onto your left. Bring the weight over your left side again. Maybe your right foot can just be up a little and your left hand is on the back of the chair. And now begin again to take your head in a circle. Go back in the other direction. Does it feel any different now? And as you start to turn your head, as you circle your head, can you start to join your left hip in? So both your head and your hip are making the circle. And then can you change direction so that your hip and your head are both going the other way? And now pause from that. And starting where you like, either your hip or your head, can you see what it would be like to take your hip in one circle direction and your head in the other? How would you do that? What other parts of you have to soften to let you do that? Maybe you need to soften a bit in the chest, in your ribs, in your sternum. Just go really slowly. Maybe try initiating that circle in one direction from your head, and then your hip goes the other way. It's like you'd get a lot of points in hula hoop work if you could do this. You see, it's a skill. Okay, pause from that. Let it go. Come back onto both your feet. Okay, now come and rest and come and sit in your chair and have a rest. Just let yourself really rest in the chair. Check in that your jaw is soft. Your face is soft. Just check your breathing. Just sense yourself on the chair. Okay, now for the next couple of things we're going to do, can you please come to sit at the front of your chair so your feet are firmly planted on the ground? And can you come into a sitting position where your right forearm is on your right leg. So bend your right arm so that your right forearm can sit on your leg. And then your left hand, put your left hand sort of roughly on your knee, but keep your left arm straight. So what that'll do, that's just a way of organizing you so that your left shoulder is a little bit higher than your right shoulder, and can you turn your head so that your right ear is a little closer to the ground and your left ear is a little close to the ceiling. So I can't see both of you, but bend your right elbow as if you were going to make an L shaped with your right elbow, and place your forearm down on your right leg. As if you were going to rest with your arm bent on the front of your leg. Okay, so then your right shoulder is a bit lower than your left shoulder. And then you're going to turn your head to look a little bit to the left, I guess. That'd be the other left. So that your right ear is a little bit closer to the ground and your left ear is a little bit closer to the ceiling. Great. Now in that slightly odd position, can you start to make circles with the crown of your head? Okay, then go the other way. Beautiful. Pause from that. Stay in that slightly odd position where your right shoulder is a bit lower than your left. Your right ear is a bit closer to the, it's as if it was pointed a bit towards the ground, and your left ear a little bit towards the ceiling. And can you unweight your right arm? And so I'm going to describe what I want you to do first before you do it. So you're going to form your right hand into a fist, but keep let your right index finger stay straight. And then you're going to bring your right index finger up and you're going to place it on your forehead. Yep, but as if you were going to, sorry, as if the whole of it was your fist is sort of at the top of your forehead, and it's as if your finger is pointing down towards your nose. Yeah, beautiful. And your right elbow is going to be up in the air. Yeah, beautiful. And then in this position, keeping your right finger, which is your index finger, sorry, of your right hand against your head, you're going to, as if you were going to make a headband around your head. So you're going to take your finger all the way around your head. So your finger is going to stay connected to you. Beautiful. Your finger is going to stay connected to your head. And at the same time, you're going to keep turning your head like you were before. So your head and your finger are both turning. So you're making a circle with your head. You're making a circle with your finger. Sorry, a name for this lesson would be the messy hair lesson. Okay, so next time your hand is back round at the front of your head, sorry, just once or twice go in the other direction. So you're going to go the opposite direction from the one you did before. And then next time your hand is back at the front of your forehead, can you pause? You're keeping your right elbow up in the air, although if you need to rest, please do. And now keep your head still. I think you did this at the start. Keep your head still and then just take your finger around your head. A couple of times in one direction. And then a couple of times in the other direction. And then when you've done that a couple of times, pause. And again, if you want to rest your arm, your right arm, please do. Maybe, just pause your right arm for a sec. And then go back into that weird position where you've got your finger pointing down towards your nose. Your elbows up in the air, beautiful. Now, let's think about this for a second before you start it. Now I want you to keep your hand still and I want you to move your head around your hand. So you're going to keep your hand where it is, roughly speaking, and you're going to take your head around your hand. So that's going to involve you making some different kinds of movements with your neck. Yeah, that's right. Beautiful. Look at that. And you can just do it once or twice and then try going in the other direction. It's very hard not to think about so you're going around your head, not around your face. So you're going around so you're making that same headband kind of arrangement. So around your skull, not around your face. Beautiful. Pause, let your hand come down and just take a bit of a rest. Sit back in your chair and have a rest. We're going into some strange configurations today. It's not an unusual thing to do in a Feldenkrais lesson, but at least one of the themes we're exploring in this lesson today is the relationship between ease and flexibility or movement in your thoracic spine, so your chest area, ribs and spine, upper spine, and the contribution that makes to walking, which is partly related to the other things that we're doing when you're in standing. So come back into that same position again, which is you're going to have your right forearm. So come to the front of your chair. You're going to lean down onto your right forearm on your right leg. So your left shoulder's up a bit higher than your right shoulder. And you're going to just turn your head around. And we're going to make a circle with your head, the crown of your head one time again. And then you're going to keep your right forearm. You're going to keep your right arm down and you're going to lift your left hand up now. Make that same strange arrangement with your hand. Put your finger. So it's your index finger pointing down. Your first finger onto the front of your forehead. And then you're going to use, and your left elbow is a bit up in the air, and you're going to use that extended finger to form like a headband around your forehead, around the whole of the circumference of your head. At the same time as you're still making something of a circle with your head in space. So both your head is making a circle and your hand is making a circle around your head. Beautiful. Try going in the other direction. Beautiful. And then pause when you get back to the front again with your hand. And then keep your head still and just take your hand around the circumference of your head. Take it in the other direction. And then next time you get back to the middle, have a little pause. And then when you're ready, think about keeping your hand still in its position and take your head around your hand. So that your finger more or less keeps contact with your head all the time. But you'll probably find your head is moving around a lot more so that it's going around the finger. Beautiful. Just maybe once go in the other direction. So you're going around the crown of the circumference of your head, the crown of your head, a bit like you were putting a crown on your head. Beautiful. Then let that go. Let that go. And come and have a rest back in your chair. Just notice your breathing. Notice how you sense yourself sitting down into your chair. How your weight is distributed over the chair as you rest. And as your jaw soft, your eyes. And now, when you're ready, can you come and stand back up behind your chair again? And go back over, keeping your right hand on the chair. Go back over onto your right side again. Just briefly, first of all, what's it like to come onto that leg? And start to make circles with the top of your head again. And notice, is there any difference in the way that happens now? Maybe go the other way once. And then pause. And then make a circle with your right hip. Does that feel? Maybe go in the other direction a couple of times. And then pause from that. And then just make a circle with your ankle. Just notice any other parts of you that get involved. Can you think about making a circle with your ankle and a circle with your head at the same time? Change direction. Okay, let that go. Come back onto both feet again. What does it feel like to be on both feet? And then come and sit back down in your seats again. And come to the front of your chair. And this time we're going to organize things so that you have your left forearm on your left leg and your right hand is on your right leg, but your right arm is straight. So now your left shoulder is going to be a little bit lower than your right. You're going to turn your head a little bit so that your left ear is a little bit closer to the ground and your right ear is a little bit closer to the ceiling. And just see in that configuration, which is the mirror of what you were doing before, what it's like to start to make circles with the top of your head. Just go really gently so that it's soft on your neck. What other parts of you get involved? How can you make this soft and easy? Change direction if you haven't already. Okay, pause from that. And this time start with your right hand. Bring your right hand up in that sort of finger out position. Right elbow up in the air. And then keep moving both your head and your hand. Start to make a circle around the crown of your head with your finger. What's it like with your left shoulder is slightly lower than your right this time, so your back is in a slightly different arrangement. What's this feel like? Pause and go in the opposite direction with your hand and your head circles. And then pause. Pause next time your hand's back around the front. And keep your head still and just take your hand around. Change direction. And then next time your hand is back around to the front, pause. And keeping your hand still, see what it's like to take your head around your hand when you're in this different configuration. So you're going to take you should be able to feel your finger all the way around the crown of your head as you move your head with your finger sort of roughly staying still. Yeah, so there's a lot of movement in your neck, maybe in your upper back. As you take your head around your hand. What's it like to go the other way now? Beautiful. Let that go. Let your hand come down and just take a rest in your chair. Just check that you're breathing. You weren't holding your breath when you were trying to work out that unusual situation of, it's a bit like the solar system really. And it's a bit like asking the sun to revolve around one of the planets. When you ask your head to revolve around your hand, we always have our head at the center of our universe. So our brain has to really think about how to do something like we've just done. So check your jaw isn't tight, your neck is soft, your shoulders are not up near your ears. And then when you're ready, come back into that position. So sitting at the front of your chair, you've got your left forearm on your left leg so that your left shoulder is a bit lower than your right. And this time you're going to take your left hand, put it up onto your forehead. So your left elbow is going to be up in the air. But weirdly, your right shoulder is still going to be a little bit higher than your left. So you're at a bit of a strange angle on your chair. You might even feel the weight is over onto your left pelvis rather than in the middle and onto your left foot. And in that position, start to circle your hand around your head at the same time as you circle your head. So your hand and your head are moving. And what's it like, especially if this is not your dominant hand? And change direction. And then same as we did before, pause. Pause, but this time take your head around your hand first. So take your head around your hand. So remember, you're going to be able to still feel that your finger touches all around that crown of your head as you take your head around your hand. So you can go really slowly because it's a bit of a mind bender. And then change direction if you, or do it in your imagination. It's another way to do this. And then pause. And then do what we find a little bit easier, which is take your hand, keep your head still, and take your hand around your head. Because we understand that better. We understand moving our hand around our head better than we can bring to mind our head around our head. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let that go. Let that go. Let your arms come down. Take a rest in your chair. Just take a moment to rest and sometimes this is an opportunity to reflect on how we respond when something really a bit, what is it, non-habitual is asked of us. What's our strategy for approaching it? Laughing about it is good. So when you're ready, just come back and stand behind your chair again. And just first, before you start, have your arms by your side and just see what it's like to be on both your feet. Where's your sense of your weight distributed between the left side of you and the right side of you? And then put your left hand back on the chair again and shift your weight over to the left leg, over to your left side. And again, how does that feel now? Can you easily find a spot that feels safe and secure on your left side? If I was to say to you that I'm going to need you to stay there for a while, have you found a place that you could stay for a while? And then when you found that stable place on your left foot, so stable that it makes it really easy for you to start to paint circles on the ceiling with your head. So what are those circles like now? Are they clear? Are they simple? Just go once or twice in the other direction. Do you notice, do you always choose the same direction to go first? Or do you mix it up? And then pause from that. Start to make a circle with the bottom of your left foot on the ground. So the front of your foot, the inside edge, the heel, the outside edge. Go around a couple of times around your foot. So you can make movement with your foot, but it still feels really stable. And then can you add in your left hip? So you're going to make circles with your ankle and your hip at the same time. How stable does that feel? Pause from that. Come back onto both your feet. And again, what's it like to be on both your feet? What's your sense of your middle? You're not on your left foot, you're not on your right foot, you're between your 2 feet. And then shift over to the right side. And again, you can put your right hand on the chair. And as you shift over, can you now easily find a stable place on your right side? A place where you could stand if you needed to for a while, where your foot is comfortable on the ground, your pelvis is stable. And then a couple of times make a circle with your head in the horizontal plane. And then see what it's like now, because I don't think we did it on this side, to take your head in one direction and your hip in the other. So what has to move in the middle of you to let your hip go one way and your head go the other? That would be your upper spine, your ribs, your sternum, your collarbone. Beautiful, look at that. Okay, pause, let that go. Come back onto both your feet again. See what that's like. See what it's like to stand. And just notice before I ask you to walk around, just where is the weight on your feet now? And if you can remember it, how stable do you feel? Have you a sense that you're over both the left foot and the right foot? How much weight is in your heels? How much weight is in the balls of your feet? What's your sense of where your pelvis is in relation to your ankles? And your shoulders in relation to your pelvis? And where is your head? Sitting over the top of everything. And then again, slowly and just slowly start to take a little bit of a walk around. And see what you notice. What's the relationship between your feet and your head and your chest in between? Thank you.